Hey, everybody. Here's a couple minutes of the Scott B. Williams interview. He's the author of Getting Out Alive and Bug Out. And great guy, great guy. If you want to listen to the whole show, go to shtfmradio.com. shtfmradio.com.
I was going to ask a question earlier. The question was, so as far as all the survival sites, I'm sure you probably looked at a few of them and stuff like that, and some of the preparation sites and stuff like that. It's good to get out there and look. What do you think would be a good thing to add? That we see all this stuff, and all of them seem to be pretty much standard, albeit the forum format's different, the blog format's different, but they're all a little bit kind of the same, really, if you look at them. What could be something that could improve, like per se, our survival and preparedness site? What would be a suggestion that might be good advice and or a good topic to put out there that, from your aspect?
Well, what I'd like to see more of, if there were sites out there that had this, I would read them all the time. And I don't read a lot of them because, like you said, it's a lot of the same stuff kind of rehashed over and over.
Yeah.
But, what I'd like to see is some first-person narratives, accounts of people, what they're actually doing. I'd like to see more people out there, putting this stuff into practice and going out, and I tell, in my book, I tell my readers, to go out there for the weekend or a week or whatever and practice these skills. And, I don't know how many people are actually doing that. Sometimes when I read some of these forums, I think some of these people have probably never been camping. And, and that's not always a bad thing. I mean, I know everybody has to start somewhere. But when you've been talking, if you're talking about it and reading about it and writing about it or blogging about it for years and years, then it would be nice to see, some actual, accounts of it and photographs and just discussions of what it's like, to actually get out there and do it.
Right. I think maybe 50% of them are afraid of doing it. The other 50% are going out and paying money for some survival training school.
Yeah.
I really don't know. And then the other 50%, that's 150%, by the way, they're having to work so much just to keep a roof over their head that they don't have time to do that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
I know a lot
I'm
of people don't have time.
I'm right there with you, Scott. We beat that drum all the time of getting people more involved in posting, and you have a lot of people that have that, like we were talking about earlier, that whole scared issue to where they're afraid to post pictures or whatever, and it's just like we just try and, like I said, keep the riffraff out, and we try and get more first-person accounts, but it just seems like a lot of them may be armchair survivalists, if that's the word a lot of people use.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you'd mentioned that earlier also, that even whether or not, and I've run into stuff, people saying, well, if you don't do it, you're going to die. But if you have a basic knowledge, so to read the book and to actually hold some sort of knowledge, short of experience, you're still going to increase your odds and your chances a lot more than not even trying to make the mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you have the information, you got a big head start regardless. Scott, do you want to, before we forget, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say having the information is a big head start, and then, whatever little bits of experience you can get, even if it's just going out for the afternoon, in the woods and, just getting used to it.
I was going to say, before we forget, because I know we've been chit-chatting, but why don't you put out as much information on where people can find your books, where people can find your websites, and all the information that I guess we should have done earlier, but we got carried away here. So put out as much as you can, if you could, and we've been putting your links to your blogs and everything in the chat. And right now I actually got your 2 books on our website and on the radio show page, and I'm sure we'll keep them up for a while. And we'll probably make a post on this show later just to go over your links and everything else too. So, but just get as much information out there about the books and the websites and everything if you could.
Yeah, the main website is scottbwilliams.com, so there's links off of that site to everything else I'm doing pretty much, but then my main survival site is bugoutsurvival.com. which I'm sure that's the one you have linked.
I just posted that one.
Yeah, so between those two, there's links to information on all the books, and then you can also find links to the boat building site where I'm building my catamaran and other things like that. But I had a couple other blogs that have kind of gone by the wayside because of this book writing that I'm doing. Like my Scott's Boat Pages was my blog I was doing before I started doing the survival blog, and it was mostly about the boating and kayak trips and sailing and boat building stuff I was doing at the time, which I'm not doing as much of right now because of the writing.
Yeah, it's tough keeping up with that stuff. I kind of ignore it and I let Johnny keep up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that is I got to do all the web stuff too. So I do all the coding, I do all the web stuff and everything else, and then Lumpy does a lot of the show material. Actually, he does all of it, but
Right.
but
so how
I mean,
much,
it's
how
just
long
so
have you
hard
been
to keep
doing
up. The radio
how
show.
long,
it's
how
hard,
long,
like
yeah, the radio and the forum. How long have you been doing it?
the forum we've had since 2007, I think. We just started the radio show. I think it was in November.
December, I believe.
Yeah, you contacted me the first time because you said that a reader mentioned something about your forum being mentioned in my book, and we had that discussion because I didn't have any links in the book, but I wonder how that came about.
I asked them. They still haven't answered me either. Actually, I haven't checked in a while, but once I posted the information about the show tonight on the site, they contacted me and said, "Great, you found him, blah blah blah," and I messaged him back and asked him, he said that our forum wasn't in his book. How did where did you get it from? So I don't know. I still don't have the answer to that one yet.
It's a blessing in disguise, though.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't put any.
It's a great thing, though.
Yeah, actually, I didn't put any sites in the book. That would have been a good thing to add, I guess. Survival sites and blogs and forums, but I figure they change all the time. So, I didn't put any of that stuff in the book actually. But if I had known about your forum at the time, I need to put a link on my blog for sure, and I'll do that tonight. But
And that was just a couple minutes of the Scott B. Williams interview, the author of Getting Out Alive and Bug Out. Also, if you want to listen to the whole thing, just come to the website, shtfmradio.com. That's shtfmradio.com. We have shows every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Other than that, check it out and share the link with everybody you know, and let's get some more people in the chat room. Chat room is at shtfmradio.com too. Have a good day.